We are in the middle of a Screen Team segment for you, and we've got Sabrina ready to join us for this next film. And Sabrina was so excited to see this film. She's like, Chris, you've got to see the trailer for it. And I was like, oh my goodness, this trailer is pretty cool. It's pretty different looking. And
you hadn't even heard of it.
I hadn't. I had no idea this movie was coming out. It came out in February of this year. It was called Winchester, starring Helen Mirren. And what really surprised me, Sabrina, is that this is all based on a true story, right?
Yeah.
I did not know that. I was going through
on
this.
On a real house and a real house owner.
Sure. So the movie starts, and we meet this doctor. What is he, a psychologist or a psychiatrist or something? He's
kind of sketchy, too.
Is he?
Yeah,
That's
kinda.
right. Well, he does a little, things that he shouldn't be doing, right?
Yes. Drinks poison or something.
Yeah, that's crazy, man.
That's how people got high back then. It was
what are you doing?
Poison.
Stop.
There's a reason they call it poison. Anyway, never mind. There's a phrase. I can't remember.
So anyway, this the Winchester, the people who make the rifles, right?
Yes.
The
widow.
The big guys of the company, they're like, hey, Mr. Psychiatrist who does poison, we want you to do a mental evaluation on the widow of the company, Winchester, right?
Yes, because she owns 50% of the company, and then their board of people own the other 50%. So control is being battled for. Sure.
So he's like, how much are you going to pay me? He's like, okay, that's a good amount.
They basically said, how much do you owe? He gave him a figure and then they said, we'll double it. Just give us the evaluation we want.
So basically, he's got to go across country to San Francisco to meet Mrs. Winchester and do this evaluation. And when you get there, you see the house, and the house by itself is pretty spectacular.
Yes.
But what you don't notice is that there's 24-hour construction going on in this house. 24 hours, 7 days a week, basically, right?
100 rooms.
Unbelievable. I mean, I can't even imagine that going on now, let alone in early 1900.
That go to nowhere, closets that open up into another room, doors that open to a brick wall, or just all kinds of craziness.
Yeah.
Which is why they want her evaluated.
So what's Mrs. Winchester's deal, man? Why can't she just retire peacefully?
She is battling an ability to see the ghosts of all who have been killed by her husband's creation, the rifle. The it's a specific kind. It's not a semi-automatic.
I'm not the gun guy here, so I don't know.
There's a word. Sorry. Sure. Again, my mind fails me.
So basically, these ghosts
repeating rifle.
These ghosts were killed by the gun, correct?
Yes.
Or
they died from tragedy of some sort, whether it was self-inflicted or not, but they all have something left undone, and usually it has to do with their death. And their soul seems to come to her
for some reason. They can't haunt anybody else, so they go to Mrs. Winchester.
And so she gives them a room of their design. And they reside in said room.
Hold on a second. How do these ghosts design a room? How does that happen?
To her.
Oh, okay.
And we find out more about how the connection really is for her and the spirits beyond, and how they affect each other. And there's a cool thing. It's 13 nails can be put into a board to keep their souls in their room until they have come to terms with whatever is keeping them there.
All right, so I think we've given away enough of the storyline of this movie. Winchester, you saw it in theaters. Did you enjoy it?
I did really enjoy this movie, and there were several times when it was just like the fun kind of scare where people went and I went
You scared me at one time. You were like I was like, dude, girl, settle down, man.
It's just you give into it, Just be scared. Just let it do its magic on you, and it's way more fun.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of people in the theater when we saw it. Sure. It had just opened up, obviously, but it just got creepier and creepier. Only because it has to do with not demonic possession, but spirits. Well, yeah, I mean,
there is some possession.
There's possession involved with the spirits and Mrs. Winchester and some of the other people that come and go from the movie, and so it's always just like it's like one big magic trick, and you're just waiting for the reveal. And I'll be doggone if you have to wait the entire movie for anything that will make you feel like you have some understanding of what you just saw.
What did you think about the set design of the house? What did you think about the house? What did you think about the costumes? Were you immersed into this world?
I was immersed in it. For me personally, I probably could have stood a little tour of the place. You know, it's like if it was a board game, I would want to look at it a lot.
Yeah.
I wanted to know more about. In fact, I want to know more about this house.
We're not going, by the way.
But based on the story, after you see this story, this movie, you might think twice before you just go, oh, look, what this is on the map. Let's go check it out. You might not want to.
Yeah. That's what I was impressed most was the set design. I thought I felt immersed in this world. I was like, man, that house looks beautiful. I want to see more of the house. The costumes I thought were great. You felt like you were in early 1900s. Yes. You really did. I think my only complaint about the film was a little bit of the acting. I just felt like they didn't get the right people for the right roles. I love both. I love Helen Mirren, and I love the gentleman who played the doctor, but I didn't love him in these roles.
Yeah.
I just didn't. So,
maybe felt like you were, I know who that is, so it's got to be good.
I felt like I was watching a 2018 version of a person being, an early 20th century.
Sometimes it's just hard to buy.
Yeah, and that was my only really gripe with it. Other than that, man, if you're into haunted house movies, this is a fair movie to watch.
Oh, absolutely, yes. Had this movie come out in the fall and been more of a Halloween, haunted house. I mean, that's really what you're dealing with here,
sure.
And I think it would have just been phenomenal to just say, oh yeah, we're gonna go see this movie, and then we're gonna go to a haunted house.
Yeah,
that would have been fun. But I'm a little bit freaky like that.
The movie's called Winchester, starring Helen Mirren, and you can find it on DVD. Coming up next, we're going to do something very interesting. We're going to be reviewing the movie Game Night, but we're doing it with some of our power couples here on the screen team. We'll have Doug and Stacy. We'll have Jamie Hickson and his wife. Are you going to come join us? Are you
are we a power couple? Feeling a little subpar there.
No, we're a power couple too.
We are?
I would think so, right?
Oh, aw.
All right. Well,
glad you're that confident in us.
We'll discuss that more, and we'll come back with Game Night for you on the screen team.